Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others struggle endlessly? It's not luck. It's not connections. It's the words they speak, the thoughts they nurture, and the habits they form. Florence Scovel Shinn, a master of manifestation, said it clearly: the words we speak shape our reality. And tonight, I'm going to share the powerful statement you should say every night for 30 days, to open the floodgates of abundance in your life. Are you ready? Here it is. I now release all fear of lack. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am worthy of wealth, and I am ready to receive it. Simple. Yet incredibly powerful. Why does it work? Because every night, as you say these words, your subconscious mind starts rewiring itself. It stops believing in limitation. It begins to see opportunities, doors that were invisible before, money that you never noticed arriving, and connections that suddenly appear out of nowhere. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you truly believed that you could have anything you desired? When was the last time you went to bed with a heart full of confidence and a mind free of worry? Let me give you an example. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in a field. If he doubts, hesitates, or ignores the field, no crop will grow. But if he waters, nourishes, and believes in the harvest, the soil bursts forth with life. Your words are the water and sunlight for your life's field. What are you feeding it every night? Fear or faith? Start tonight. Say it. Mean it. Feel it. Picture yourself living in abundance. Picture your debts dissolving, your bank account swelling, your opportunities multiplying. And do this every single night for 30 days. The magic isn't in the words alone. It's in your commitment. It's in your unwavering belief. Your mind cannot distinguish between what you imagine vividly and what you live. When you feed it with thoughts of wealth, it will produce wealth. Guaranteed. Now, here's the suspense. Often, change comes silently. A small payment arrives when you least expect it. A job opportunity knocks, and you can't explain why. A friend suddenly connects you to someone who changes everything. That's the universe responding to your words, your faith, your consistency. Can you commit? Just 30 nights. That's all it takes to start rewriting your story, to start seeing wealth where you never saw it before, to start living the life you've always dreamed of. Remember, your words have power. Your thoughts create your reality. Your belief opens the door to abundance. So tonight, before sleep takes over, speak it with clarity, conviction, and confidence. I now release all fear of lack. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am worthy of wealth, and I am ready to receive it. Do it for 30 nights, and watch miracles unfold. You will listen these key points in this video. Your words shape your reality. Speaking positively about wealth rewires your subconscious. Repeating a specific affirmation consistently, 30 days, creates powerful momentum. Visualizing abundance strengthens the impact of your words. Fear and doubt block opportunities, replacing them with faith attracts wealth. Small, unexpected opportunities often signal the universe responding to your intentions. Commitment and consistency are the keys to turning thoughts into tangible results. Have you ever noticed how a single word, a single phrase, can linger in your mind long after it's been spoken? It can lift you, it can haunt you, and it can shape the path of your entire day or even your entire life. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. They are tiny sparks of energy that, over time, grow into the circumstances and experiences you live through. Imagine walking through a forest, tossing seeds into the soil as you go. Some seeds are nourishing, full of potential. Others are weeds, choking the life out of the ground they touch. Every word you speak, every thought you give attention to, is like that seed. And the soil? That is your mind, fertile with belief and expectation, ready to bring to life whatever is planted there. Think of a child who grows up hearing constant warnings about money. We can't afford that, money is hard to come by, you'll never be rich. Those words, repeated over and over, become more than advice. They become a lens through which life is seen. That child grows up expecting scarcity, and scarcity finds them at every turn. Opportunities appear, but they are overlooked. Chances for abundance slip by unnoticed. The mind, trained to listen to limitation, filters reality through a lens of lack. And the remarkable thing is, the universe doesn't argue. It doesn't correct our thinking. It simply mirrors what we believe. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine someone who, instead of fear, speaks life into their circumstances every day. They wake up and whisper, "I am open to abundance. Wealth comes to me easily and effortlessly." They don't say it once, they repeat it. They feel it. They live it in their imagination first, and in that moment, something incredible begins to happen. Their eyes start to notice possibilities that were invisible before. Doors that seemed closed begin to creak open. People respond to them differently. The universe, in all its subtle ways, begins to respond to the energy of their words. Florence Scovel Shinn said it simply, "Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your world." Let me tell you a story. There was a man named David, a small business owner struggling to make ends meet. Every month, he worried about bills, payments, debt stacking higher than he could count. Money felt like a stranger who always arrived too late. But one evening, David read about the power of spoken affirmations. Skeptical but desperate, he decided to try something new. That night, he spoke aloud, "I now release all fear of lack. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am worthy of wealth, and I am ready to receive it." He didn't just say it, he let the words roll over him, like a warm wave washing away worry. The next morning, he didn't notice anything immediately. It felt too simple, almost silly. But within a few days, small shifts began. A client called unexpectedly with a big order. A vendor offered him a discount he hadn't asked for. Opportunities David had been too focused on fear to see now appeared in plain sight. It wasn't magic, it was the alignment of his mind, his words, and his focus. By the end of 30 days, David's business was thriving in ways he never imagined, all because he had planted new seeds with the words he spoke each night. Consider for a moment the power of repetition. The mind, like soil, responds to consistent care. One word, one statement, repeated daily, begins to dissolve the old patterns of fear and limitation. It rewires the brain, shifting attention from lack to abundance. That's why affirmations aren't just motivational cliches, they are tools of transformation. When you say, "I am worthy of wealth," your mind starts to accept it as fact. Suddenly, you stop dismissing opportunities because they seem too good to be true. Suddenly, you stop talking yourself out of success before it even begins. Your words become your reality. It's not just business or money. Think about relationships. People who speak negatively about love, "I never find the right person," "love always leaves me," tend to repeat patterns of disappointment. The words shape expectations, and expectations shape experience. Conversely, those who speak life into their relationships, "I deserve love," "I am attracting the perfect partner," start noticing possibilities that were invisible before. Words change perception, and perception changes reality. You may not see the change instantly, but subtle shifts accumulate, like drops of water carving a canyon over time. Imagine walking into a room and saying to yourself, "I am open, I am capable, I am ready." That internal dialogue sets your posture, your energy, the way people respond to you. A smile comes more easily. Opportunities become visible. Confidence grows. Even challenges are seen as puzzles to solve, not walls that block you. The words you speak are the invisible compass guiding every step you take. And it's not just about positive thinking, it's about alignment. You can't speak words of abundance while secretly believing you are undeserving. The mind detects contradictions like a radar. That's why feeling and emotion matter. When David said his affirmation, he didn't just mumble the words, he felt them. He pictured the money arriving, the relief, the freedom. He imagined opening letters and invoices with a smile instead of dread. That emotional energy amplified the power of his words, sending a clear signal to the subconscious mind, which then began to orchestrate reality in alignment with those beliefs. Even nature teaches this lesson. Consider the vine that grows toward the light. Every tendril stretches, reaches, and bends toward what it needs to thrive. The plant doesn't argue or resist, it simply aligns itself with what will allow it to flourish. Your words, when spoken with intention and belief, act as that guiding light. They pull your life in the direction you want it to grow, bending circumstances toward abundance, resilience, and opportunity. Think about the people around you. Have you noticed that when someone speaks with certainty and clarity, doors seem to open for them? A job opportunity, a financial tip, a connection, they attract these things not because of luck, but because their words signal possibility. Their minds are aligned with opportunity, and the universe mirrors that alignment. You too can become magnetic to wealth, not by chasing it, but by speaking it into existence consistently. Your words are seeds. Your thoughts are the water. Your belief is the sunlight. Plant wisely. Speak deliberately. Repeat consistently. Feed your mind daily with words that reflect the life you want. Every night, as you speak your affirmations, picture the soil of your mind absorbing them, nurturing them, letting them grow. What you speak becomes what you see. What you believe becomes what you live. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner you can transform fear into faith, limitation into opportunity, and scarcity into abundance. Repetition is a curious thing. It's simple, almost too simple to be believable, yet it holds extraordinary power. When you repeat something consistently, day after day, it begins to shape your reality in ways you might never expect. Think about learning to ride a bike. The first time, it feels impossible. Your body wobbles, your hands shake, your mind is full of doubt. But you keep going. You fall. You get back up. You try again. Slowly, the movements become automatic. Balance becomes second nature. In the same way, your mind learns from repetition. Words repeated with intention are like that bike practice, they train your subconscious to move in the direction you desire. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Maria. She worked in an office where her paycheck barely covered her bills. She dreamed of financial freedom, of traveling, of buying her own home, but she felt trapped, stuck in the monotony of her life. One day, she stumbled upon the idea of nightly affirmations. Skeptical but desperate, she decided to try it. Each night, she recited, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am worthy of wealth. I am ready to receive it." At first, it felt awkward. Her mind wandered. Doubt crept in. This won't work, she thought. But she persisted. Night after night, she repeated the words. She didn't rush it. She spoke slowly, imagining each sentence as a promise she was giving to herself. After a week, she noticed small changes. A coworker mentioned a side project that could pay extra. A friend recommended a freelance opportunity she had never considered. Nothing massive yet, but the seed had been planted. The repetition had begun to reprogram her mind, making her alert to opportunities she had previously overlooked. Her thoughts were shifting from fear to expectation, from scarcity to possibility. Think of repetition like brushing your teeth. You do it every day, not because you see immediate results, but because you trust that the process works. Each time you brush, you strengthen your oral health without having to think about it. Your affirmations work the same way. Each repetition strengthens your subconscious belief in your worthiness, your ability to attract wealth, and your readiness to receive it. Slowly but surely, what was once an abstract hope becomes tangible reality. Consider Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't see those failures as defeat. Each attempt was a repetition, a step closer to the goal. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each repetition, each trial, trained his mind to find the solution, to recognize what worked and discard what didn't. Your affirmations function similarly. Each night you repeat them, your mind becomes more attuned to possibilities, solutions, and pathways that lead to wealth. Repetition is also powerful because it builds familiarity. When you say, "I am worthy of wealth," night after night, your subconscious mind becomes comfortable with that truth. It starts to accept it as fact. Suddenly, scarcity feels foreign. Fear of lack becomes a stranger. You begin to walk into the world with a quiet confidence that attracts opportunities, people, and resources naturally. You start noticing the small miracles that happen every day: a bonus from work, a timely gift, an unexpected check in the mail, and you recognize them as signs that the universe is responding to your consistent words. Let's picture it this way. Imagine a sculptor working on a block of marble. One strike, nothing changes. Another strike, a chip falls away. Hundreds of strikes, and a masterpiece emerges. Repetition is the sculptor's hand, chipping away doubt, fear, and limitation, until what remains is a confident, empowered mind ready to receive abundance. Every word you speak consistently is another strike of the chisel, another step toward the life you are creating. Even in nature, repetition builds results. Rivers carve valleys not because of sudden, dramatic floods but because of the steady, persistent flow of water over time. It is the repetition, the continuous movement, that shapes mountains, forms canyons, and creates breathtaking landscapes. Similarly, your repeated affirmations, spoken faithfully each night, carve pathways in your mind, creating channels through which abundance can flow. And the beauty of repetition is that it trains not just your conscious mind but your subconscious as well. Most of our decisions, our fears, and our limitations are governed by the subconscious. It's like the engine running in the background of your life, unseen but powerful. Repetition is the way to speak to that engine. When you tell yourself consistently, "I am worthy. I am ready. Wealth flows to me," the subconscious begins to act as though it's true, guiding your thoughts, choices, and actions toward that reality without you even realizing it. I want you to imagine standing at the edge of a dark forest. You don't know the path, you don't see the end, and fear whispers, "You will get lost." Now, imagine walking that path every day, step by step, until the trail becomes familiar. You no longer stumble. You know where the roots are, where the rocks lie, and you move confidently through the forest. Repetition transforms uncertainty into mastery. The same is true with your affirmations. Day after day, your mind learns the terrain of abundance, and fear of lack slowly disappears. Let's not underestimate the emotional impact either. Repetition creates comfort. When you say, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways," your heart begins to relax. Anxiety eases. A sense of trust grows. You start to feel the emotion of already having what you desire. This emotional alignment magnifies the effect of repetition, because the subconscious responds not just to words, but to feelings. Your consistent words, paired with genuine belief, form a powerful combination that rewires your mind for success. And here's something incredible: repetition also builds resilience. When obstacles arise, and they will, you are prepared. Because your mind has been trained to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, fear has less grip over you. You see challenges as temporary, as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Opportunities that others overlook become obvious to you. Doors that seem closed begin to open. Repetition not only programs your mind for wealth, it programs it for confidence, persistence, and hope. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized consistency. She knew that the words we speak every day, repeated with faith, are the building blocks of our lives. It is not a one-time act. It is the daily dedication, the nightly ritual, the commitment to speak life into your future, that transforms dreams into reality. Each night, as you repeat your affirmations, imagine the seed sinking deeper into the soil, roots growing stronger, until it bursts forth into the abundance you have imagined. Belief is a quiet force, often invisible, yet it shapes every corner of our lives. It's not always about what we see, it's about what we expect to see. Imagine walking into a room full of doors, but you've been told most of them are locked. You glance around cautiously, hesitant to try the handles. Every locked door confirms your fear. But what if, instead, you believed every door could open? That belief alone changes everything. Suddenly, your hands reach boldly, your eyes notice hinges, your mind searches for keys, and doors start to yield to your efforts. That's the power of belief. It's the unseen engine behind the words we speak, the silent partner that transforms affirmations into reality. I want to tell you about a man named Alex. For years, Alex struggled with his finances. Every month, he worried about rent, bills, and loans. He dreamed of a life where money wasn't a constant weight on his shoulders, but deep down, he doubted it could ever happen. One day, a friend introduced him to a simple nightly practice: Speak words of wealth and abundance before bed. Alex was skeptical, but he decided to try. That night, he whispered, I am worthy of wealth. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am ready to receive. He said it slowly, with intention, imagining the feeling of relief and freedom. The first few nights, nothing seemed to change. The bills were still there, the debts still pressing. Doubt crept in, whispering, this won't work. It's just words. But Alex remembered something he had read. Belief is like a muscle, it grows stronger with exercise. So he persisted, night after night, speaking those words, feeling them in his heart. And gradually, something remarkable began to happen. A former client called with an unexpected project. A friend offered a small but timely financial gift. Opportunities that once seemed invisible started to appear in plain sight. Alex realized that the practice wasn't just about speaking, it was about cultivating belief. His words had planted seeds, and belief was the sunlight and water that allowed them to grow. Belief works because the mind doesn't know the difference between what is imagined vividly and what is real. When you believe, truly believe, that wealth is yours, your mind begins to act in alignment with that belief. You notice opportunities you would have ignored before. You make decisions confidently, rather than hesitating out of fear. You stop saying I can't before you even try. The universe responds to belief, not skepticism. Every great success story you've ever heard started with someone who chose to believe before the proof appeared. Think of belief as a lens. Two people can see the same situation and interpret it completely differently. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunity. One sees scarcity, the other sees abundance. The difference is belief. The lens you look through determines the reality you experience. When you consistently feed your mind with words that affirm abundance, your lens begins to shift. You start interpreting life through the eyes of possibility, noticing pathways that were previously hidden. Doors open not because luck intervenes, but because your belief aligns with opportunity, creating a path for it to manifest. I want you to picture a garden. Seeds are planted, but they do not sprout immediately. They lie beneath the soil, seemingly dormant. The gardener waters them, tends them, and most importantly, believes they will grow. Every day, that belief influences the gardener's actions, adjusting the soil, removing weeds, ensuring the plant has sunlight. Gradually, the seeds break through the surface, growing into flowers and fruits. Your affirmations are the seeds, your actions are the care you give, and your belief is the sunlight that enables growth. Without belief, no matter how carefully you plant or water, the seeds may never flourish. Belief also shapes your emotional response to life's challenges. When opportunities don't appear immediately, when a plan seems delayed, a strong belief keeps you grounded. It prevents fear from taking hold. It allows you to see delays not as denial but as timing, giving you patience and perspective. People without belief often give up too soon, convinced that the universe is against them. Those with belief understand that life unfolds in its own rhythm, and they remain steadfast, speaking words of abundance while trusting the process. Consider historical examples. Henry Ford was told countless times that cars were impractical, that people wouldn't adopt them. But he believed. Thomas Edison faced failure after failure, yet his belief in eventual success never wavered. J.K. Rowling believed in her story even after dozens of rejections. Belief was the constant that allowed their words, ideas, and actions to manifest into reality. Without that internal conviction, all the words in the world would have been powerless. And belief is contagious. When you speak affirmations with conviction, those around you sense it. People are drawn to confidence and certainty. Opportunities present themselves because others believe in your energy, in your alignment with success. Your belief becomes a beacon, signaling to the universe and to those around you that you are ready. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the quiet certainty that you are worthy, prepared, and capable. I want you to imagine lying in bed tonight, feeling the weight of the day. The bills, the work, the pressures, all of it pressing down. You speak your affirmation, I am worthy of wealth. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am ready to receive. You don't just say it, you feel it. You see yourself receiving, thriving, and living without fear. That feeling, that belief, settles into your subconscious while you sleep. By morning, your mind begins to notice new opportunities, subtle hints, connections that previously went unseen. Belief has begun to sculpt your reality, quietly but powerfully. Belief and words work together. Words are the seed, belief is the soil and sunlight. Repeat the words consistently, and nourish them with belief, and your life begins to shift. Scarcity gives way to abundance. Fear gives way to confidence. Limitations dissolve, and new paths appear. You may not see the change instantly, but if you remain steadfast, every day becomes a step closer to the wealth and freedom you are creating. And here's the subtle magic: belief often works behind the scenes first. You may not immediately notice the change in bank accounts or income, but you begin to see changes in your awareness, in your courage, in the way you respond to opportunities. The world starts to bend toward your expectation because your mind, trained through repeated words and reinforced by belief, begins to act in harmony with abundance. Opportunities are everywhere, but most of us walk past them without even noticing. Why? Because our minds are clouded with doubt, fear, or the simple belief that life is against us. The truth is, the universe is always responding to the energy we put out. When we focus on lack, we see lack. When we focus on abundance, we begin to see doors open where before there were only walls. This is the remarkable truth: opportunities are always present, but they are invisible to the eye that is trained to expect nothing. Let me tell you a story about a young woman named Jasmine. She worked in a small office, dreaming of financial freedom, but every day felt like survival. Bills stacked up, her dreams felt distant, and she convinced herself that wealth was reserved for other people, not her. One evening, she read about the power of affirmations and the importance of focusing on opportunities. That night, she whispered, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am worthy of abundance, and I am ready to receive it." She didn't just speak it, she imagined the doors opening, the pathways appearing, the relief washing over her like sunlight breaking through clouds. The next day, something subtle happened. Jasmine noticed a flyer in the office break room about a freelance opportunity that matched her skills perfectly. In the past, she would have walked past, thinking it wasn't for her, but something had shifted. She applied. She got the gig. And soon after, another opportunity appeared through a casual conversation with a coworker. Each one seemed small, almost insignificant, yet cumulatively, they changed her financial trajectory. What had changed wasn't luck, it was her attention, her openness, her alignment with possibility. Opportunities are like hidden treasure, buried just beneath the surface of everyday life. If your mind is focused on fear or scarcity, you walk right over them, unaware they are there. But if your mind is open, expecting abundance, those same chances stand out like bright lights in a dark room. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this principle. The universe constantly delivers abundance, but we must be ready to receive it. We must be alert, focused, and willing to act. Opportunities require attention, and attention is drawn by the vibration of your words, thoughts, and belief. Think of it like fishing. The pond is full of fish, but if you cast a net with holes too large, or if you fish without patience and focus, you'll catch nothing. The fisherman who waits, who prepares, who casts carefully, is rewarded. Your words, spoken with intention, are like bait. Your belief and focus are the net. And when you consistently align yourself with abundance, you begin to notice fish jumping into your net from places you never expected. Sometimes it's a friend who recommends a side project. Sometimes it's a sudden promotion. Sometimes it's a chance meeting that opens a door you didn't even know existed. Opportunities often arrive in subtle ways, and timing is everything. I want you to imagine a garden again. You plant seeds, water them, and trust the process, but growth doesn't happen overnight. One day, you notice a tiny sprout, then another. Eventually, the garden flourishes, but the gardener's patience is key. Opportunities are the sprouts of your intentions. They often appear quietly, almost imperceptibly, until you recognize them. If you give up too soon, you'll miss the harvest. If you persist, the world begins to bend toward your readiness. Consider the story of Michael, a man who had struggled for years in a job he hated. He felt invisible, overlooked, and trapped in a cycle of low income and frustration. One night, he decided to change his focus. He spoke nightly affirmations, envisioning doors opening, chances appearing, and abundance flowing. After 2 weeks, he noticed an email from a company he hadn't applied to, offering a freelance role perfectly suited to his talents. He hesitated for a moment, fear crept in, but his consistent focus and belief pushed him forward. That single decision led to new clients, increased income, and a confidence that had been dormant for years. Opportunities had been there all along. His alignment with abundance made him notice them. Opportunities are also contagious. When you align with abundance, your energy attracts people, ideas, and resources that might have seemed unreachable. You notice invitations, suggestions, and solutions you would have ignored before. The universe conspires to deliver, but only when you are ready. That readiness is built by consistent words, belief, and expectation. Without readiness, even the most obvious chance can slip by unnoticed, dismissed as coincidence or luck. And here's the beauty of opportunity: it doesn't always arrive in the form you expect. Sometimes wealth comes in unexpected ways. A simple idea, a conversation, a sudden insight, these can become the doorway to financial freedom if your mind is open to see them. When you repeat your affirmations, you are not just asking for money, you are preparing yourself to recognize wealth in all its forms. The mind that expects abundance notices opportunity. The mind that fears scarcity notices obstacles. The choice is yours. Imagine standing at a crossroads. 2 paths stretch out before you. One is overgrown, full of obstacles, and seems impossible. The other glows faintly, almost hidden, but beckons with possibility. A mind trained in fear will hesitate, stall, or turn back. A mind aligned with abundance steps forward, curious, confident, and alert. Every step reveals more light, more opportunity, more doors opening to the life you imagined. Opportunities respond to your attention, just as doors respond to the key in your hand. Opportunities also teach you trust. You learn to act even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, because you know that abundance flows in expected and unexpected ways. You learn that the universe rewards initiative and alignment. You see that consistent words and belief create a magnet for wealth, bringing chances into your life you could never have predicted. And you begin to notice a pattern: opportunities are everywhere, but only the prepared mind sees them. So tonight, when you speak your affirmation before bed, imagine yourself walking into life with open eyes, alert and ready. Imagine seeing the doors, the chances, the small miracles that others overlook. Imagine catching opportunities as they appear, guided by your words, your belief, and your expectation. Opportunities are all around you, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be seized. They are gifts from the universe, delivered to those who are ready to receive. Every night you speak your affirmation, you are planting the seeds, nurturing the soil, and preparing yourself to notice the abundance already present. You are training your mind to see what was invisible, to recognize doors that were previously closed, to welcome wealth in forms both expected and unexpected. You are aligning with opportunity. And when you combine this alignment with action, the doors swing wide, and the life of abundance you imagined begins to unfold, step by step, moment by moment. Action is where dreams meet reality. Words, beliefs, and visualizations set the stage, but without action, they remain invisible, like seeds scattered on untended soil. It's easy to imagine wealth, to repeat affirmations, to feel the thrill of abundance in your mind, but if your hands don't move, if your feet don't take steps, the universe has nothing to work with. Opportunities appear, doors open, but you must walk through them. Action is the bridge between intention and manifestation. Let me share a story about a man named Robert. 4 years, he spoke affirmations nightly, visualized abundance, and truly believed in the possibility of wealth. He felt ready, worthy, and deserving. Yet, his bank account didn't reflect it. Frustration began to creep in. He thought, maybe this manifestation thing isn't real. One morning, a friend called with a suggestion to pitch a business idea to a local company. Robert hesitated at first. Fear whispered, "What if you fail? What if they say no?" But then he remembered the affirmations he had spoken, the belief he had cultivated, and the vision he held. He acted. He made the call. He scheduled the meeting. And in that moment, the invisible became visible. That single action set off a chain of events that transformed his financial reality. Action is amplified when guided by clarity. You can't act blindly and expect miracles. You must know what you want, see it vividly in your mind, and then move toward it intentionally. Think about an archer aiming at a target. The arrow won't fly in the right direction unless it is drawn back, aimed, and released with precision. The target represents your goal, your vision of wealth. Your affirmation is the bow, belief is the tension in the string, and action is the release. Without that release, the arrow never reaches the mark. Consider the story of Emily, a young entrepreneur who dreamed of opening her own bakery. She spoke her affirmations nightly, visualized customers lining up, and believed in her success wholeheartedly. But belief alone wasn't enough. She had to bake, experiment, and take risks. She stayed up late perfecting recipes, knocking on doors to meet suppliers, and attending networking events to introduce herself. Every action, no matter how small, was a step toward her vision. Within months, her bakery opened, thriving beyond what she had imagined. Her words and belief had prepared her mind and heart, but action turned possibility into reality. Action also requires courage. The universe often delivers opportunities in ways that test your confidence. Maybe a client offers you a project that seems too challenging. Maybe a chance appears that pushes you outside your comfort zone. Many people step back, intimidated by the unknown. But the ones who succeed, those who attract abundance, act anyway. They trust the preparation of their mind, the alignment of their beliefs, and the clarity of their vision. They take the step, even when the path isn't fully lit, and in doing so, they allow the universe to meet them halfway. Imagine walking through a dark tunnel with a single light ahead. Belief and visualization give you the map and the confidence to move forward, but action is what allows your feet to carry you toward the light. Each step illuminates the next, showing you where to turn, when to pause, and when to run. Without those steps, the map is useless, and the light remains out of reach. Action converts the abstract into tangible results. Even small actions matter. Don't underestimate the impact of seemingly minor steps. A phone call, an email, a meeting, or even researching a potential opportunity can set a chain reaction in motion. I want you to picture a pebble dropped into a calm pond. The ripples spread outward, touching areas far beyond the point of impact. Each action you take creates ripples in your life, attracting wealth and opportunities that may not have been visible at first. Consistent, deliberate action multiplies the effect of your affirmations and belief. There's also a feedback loop between action and belief. When you act, you build confidence. Each step forward, each small success, reinforces the belief that you are capable, worthy, and ready for abundance. That confidence fuels more action. It's a cycle that grows stronger over time. The person who sits idle may believe, may dream, but without action, the feedback loop remains incomplete. Action completes the circuit, allowing the energy of your words and belief to manifest in the physical world. I want to tell you about a man named Victor. He had been repeating affirmations nightly for months, visualizing wealth, and feeling the emotion of abundance. Yet, he hadn't applied for new jobs, hadn't pitched his ideas, hadn't followed up on potential opportunities. One day, he decided to act. He reached out to a mentor, updated his resume, and applied for positions he had previously deemed too competitive. Within weeks, he received an offer far beyond his expectations. That single decision to act transformed his life. The opportunities were always there, his words and belief had prepared him, but action brought them into his reality. Action is also about persistence. Rarely does the first attempt produce the ultimate result. The universe responds to continued effort. The person who takes action consistently, who shows up day after day with focus and determination, attracts momentum. Doors open wider, chances multiply, and the energy of wealth begins to flow more freely. Inaction, on the other hand, is stagnation. It blocks the flow of abundance, no matter how clear your vision or strong your belief. Think of it like a sculptor chiseling marble. The first strike doesn't reveal the statue. It takes repeated, deliberate strikes over time to bring the vision into form. Every action you take is a strike of the chisel. The final masterpiece, financial freedom, abundance, opportunity, is revealed only when action meets intention. Your words and beliefs set the shape, but your hands create the form. Action also teaches you to trust your instincts. When you begin to move toward your goals, you start to notice subtle signs, nudges, and synchronicities that guide your next steps. The world responds to motion. Opportunities that were invisible while you hesitated become obvious once you take a step. Fear diminishes as experience grows, and momentum builds. The first action is always the hardest, but it is also the most transformative. So tonight, when you repeat your affirmation, know that words alone are powerful, but action is the amplifier. Speak your vision with conviction. Believe in your worth. And then move. Make the call. Take the meeting. Send the email. Say yes to opportunities that align with your vision. Even the smallest action matters. Each step brings you closer to the reality your words have been creating. Action turns potential into results, dreams into experiences, and affirmations into tangible abundance. Consistency is the invisible thread that ties everything together. It is the quiet, steady force that separates fleeting hope from real transformation. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water using a cup. If you dump the cup once and walk away, the effort seems pointless. But if you return day after day, carefully pouring water, eventually the bucket fills. That is the power of consistency. It multiplies your words, belief, and actions into results that are undeniable, tangible, and lasting. Without consistency, even the most powerful affirmations and strongest intentions dissipate into the air, unnoticed and unfulfilled. Let me tell you about a man named Jonathan. He had discovered the power of affirmations, spoken them nightly, visualized abundance vividly, and acted boldly on opportunities. Yet, in the first week, the results were minimal. Money didn't appear magically, doors didn't swing wide open, and doubt whispered, "Why bother? It's not working." But Jonathan understood one key principle: transformation takes time. He committed to consistency. Every night, without fail, he recited his affirmation with belief, feeling, and intent. Every morning, he reviewed his goals and took deliberate steps toward them. Within a few weeks, subtle shifts began to emerge. Small wins appeared, opportunities became visible, and a quiet confidence began to grow inside him. By the end of the month, he was no longer hoping for wealth, he was living it. Consistency works because it trains the subconscious mind. The subconscious doesn't judge, it doesn't rush, and it doesn't respond to one-off efforts. It responds to repetition over time. Every night you speak your affirmation, every day you take action, every time you hold belief in the face of fear, you are sending a clear signal to your subconscious. Abundance is not optional, it is inevitable. The mind begins to align thoughts, decisions, and perception with that message. It becomes impossible for scarcity to dominate because the subconscious is tuned to notice possibilities, connections, and pathways to wealth. Think of an athlete training for a marathon. They don't run 26 miles on the first day. They start small, building endurance gradually. Each run strengthens their body, trains their muscles, and reinforces the belief that they can go the distance. The same principle applies to manifestation. Consistency strengthens the mind, reinforces belief, and builds a habitual awareness of opportunity. Day after day, your repeated effort compounds, creating results far greater than any single action could achieve. Consistency also cultivates trust in yourself, your abilities, and the universe. When you show up for yourself every day, you reinforce the message that you are worthy of abundance. You demonstrate discipline, resilience, and commitment, which not only shapes your reality but also changes your self-perception. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes charge of their destiny, someone capable of creating wealth and living fully. This trust is magnetic. Opportunities, resources, and connections begin to gravitate toward the person who consistently aligns words, belief, and action. Let me give you an example. A woman named Sophie wanted to launch her coaching business. She knew the principles of manifestation, affirmations, visualization, belief, and action. But the difference maker was consistency. Every day, she dedicated an hour to her affirmations, another hour to visualizing success, and daily actions toward building her business. Some days, the results felt invisible. Some days, she wondered if her efforts mattered. But she persisted. Within 3 months, she landed her first paying client. Within 6 months, her client base multiplied. Within a year, her income had exceeded what she had ever imagined. Consistency had transformed her dream into reality. Even nature teaches the lesson of consistency. Rivers carve valleys not with sudden force, but with persistent flow. Trees grow tall and strong, year after year, weathering storms, adapting, and expanding their roots. The universe operates on the same principle. Persistent, consistent effort creates momentum. Momentum attracts more energy, more opportunities, more wealth. Without consistency, momentum never develops. Without momentum, even the clearest vision remains unfulfilled. Consistency also builds resilience against setbacks. Life is unpredictable. Opportunities may be delayed. Challenges will arise. A single failure or a week of inconsistency can shake your confidence. But those who have trained themselves in consistency are able to return to the practice, unwavering. They don't judge themselves for temporary lapses. They pick up where they left off, knowing that the cumulative effect of consistent effort will outlast momentary obstacles. Imagine a sculptor, chipping away at marble every day. Some days, the chips are small, almost imperceptible. Some days, the shape seems unclear. But the sculptor continues, day after day, each strike shaping the final masterpiece. That is how consistency works. Each affirmation spoken, each act of belief, each step taken toward opportunity, adds to the sculpture of your life. Over time, the invisible becomes visible, the dream becomes reality, and the life you imagined emerges in full form. Consistency also creates a rhythm, a sacred flow that trains your mind to expect results. When you repeat affirmations nightly, take aligned action daily, and reinforce belief constantly, your mind begins to recognize a pattern. It becomes easier to stay positive, alert, and ready for opportunities. You develop a natural confidence and expectation of success that permeates every area of life. Without consistency, this rhythm is broken, and your energy is scattered, making it harder for abundance to manifest. Consider Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings. The universe responds not to sporadic efforts but to disciplined, unwavering alignment. Your words, belief, action, and attention must be cultivated daily. Night after night, you plant seeds. Day after day, you nurture them with belief and action. The growth may be gradual, almost imperceptible at first, but eventually, the seeds bloom into abundance, prosperity, and a life you previously only imagined. Consistency is also the ultimate test of commitment. It separates those who are willing to wait, persist, and trust the process from those who give up at the first sign of delay. Wealth is not a one-night miracle. It is the product of steady alignment, persistent action, and unwavering belief over time. Each night you repeat your affirmation, each day you take aligned steps, you are proving your commitment to yourself, to your vision, and to the universe. That proof carries more weight than words alone. Tonight, as you lie down to speak your affirmation, remember that consistency is the hidden engine behind manifestation. It doesn't matter how small your steps feel. It doesn't matter if you doubt along the way. What matters is showing up, faithfully, every night, every day, with your words, your belief, and your action. Over time, this